The fall of Syria is only one massive event in a much bigger series of events. We see throughout the world the wars. We see the conflict between good and evil, between truth and falsehood, between a hidden agenda of very powerful and wealthy people and the simple, everyday human beings that live on this planet that try to get through it, and make something good out of it. The fall of Syria into the hands of rebels is just a transition from one radical group to another. But whether you're a Sunni or Shia, you still have a Messianic vision of Islam to take Jerusalem and destroy the Jews. Sure sounds like a Messiah I don't want to work for. And even if I was not a Jew, God forbid, and lived somewhere on an island in the South Pacific, I don't think I would support destroying Jerusalem or taking over Jerusalem for the sake of a group of radical, murder-bent, death cult terrorists. Are they after freedom? Do you see any free Arab societies? Do you see people happy to be, I'm laughing because it's not funny. But okay, the vision is the main thing. Understand that the unsettling and removal of Hezbollah, of Hamas, and now of the Alawite Assad cult of death, which I think they've killed more than anybody of their own people, according to the reports coming out of there now. This is not the end of the domino effect. I remember that phrase, right? Back from the 60s and 70s, they were talking about the domino effect of communism taking over the world. Well, I'm not sure the dominoes have stopped falling from the communist side of the agenda. But when it comes to the godly side of the agenda, there is a process that we are in the midst of. We call it redemption on a good day. We call it war on a bad day. But it is a process of fulfilling the prophecies of Jacob, the prophecies of Moses, the prophecies of the promise to Isaiah and Jeremiah, that this land is going to expand. Not because we are colonialists, because we just need to push back the fence because the other guys are throwing too many rockets over, down the road, north, south, well, even east and west. They can throw rockets now from the ocean. But the Jewish people are being forced to expand. That's part of the Messianic vision, that the Jew gets the unbelievable spine to stand up and tell the world, I'm not going to stand here and be bombed and rocketed forever. I call it Messianic, but it just sounds like a normal guy. You stand up for your neighborhood. You stand up for your house. You stand up for your neighbors. You stand up for your valleys and hillsides and fields and forests. Everybody else does. Why can't the Jews? Well, I'll tell you why. Because these wars are manufactured by the other side. What we call in Kabbalah the Sitra Achara, the other side of the tree of life. Life, what's the other side of life? Death. They're manufactured by the side of death, but why? Because God has an agenda to destroy evil from the face of the earth forever. Now, this is one of these Jewish dreams that, that people have latched onto for a long, long time. And Christianity and Islam has their messianic concepts as well. But their messianic concept includes subjugation, and that's anything but freedom-minded, God-loving philosophy. God himself is not looking to subjugate anyone. He wants us to choose a proper relationship with the Creator. He wants us to choose freedom in the structure of how the tree of life, the divine paradigm of how infinite light becomes finite capsules of power in the human mind and heart. He wants us to live to the laws of that paradigm, whether you're Jewish or not. Goodness is goodness and truth is truth. So the Messianic vision of the fall of these nations is only in order to increase our safety, because his name, his reputation, God's investment, long-term investment, it's more than a 401k over here. God invested in the Jewish people from the time he saved Abraham from the 5 kings and destroyed them. But he only went after the 5 kings because they kidnapped his son, Lot. His nephew. But it was like his son because he had lost his father in the trip from southern Iraq to come to Israel. Now, of course, what we don't learn in the simple pages of the Bible, what we learn in the Talmud and in the Midrashim, is that Lot was destined to be the progenitor of the Messianic line, because Lot's son, Moab, would become the man who would found what is nowadays Ammon, Jordan. And Moab and Ammon were the 2 nations that Lot produced on that unhappy day that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, or the night after, we should say. And, there's a whole reason in the Kabbalah why the Messianic line that has to come through Lot, is because God was hiding that spark from the external negative forces that would have destroyed him. Just like Nimrod wanted to kill Abraham, and Pharaoh wanted to kill Pharaoh, and Pharaoh wanted to kill Jacob. It's an endless process of revealing holiness in the midst of evil. And so it has to be done in a hidden way. And Lot was the answer to do that, to bring the spark of the Messiah through Ruth, through his great-great-granddaughter, and then it would come through her great-great-grandson, Yishai, and that Messianic line will be founded. The other Messianic line, of course, is through Jacob, which from the other side of the family, which was Joseph. We're not going to get into that vision more, but understand that what's happening looks like chaos, but it's the preparation for the greatest order that has ever been or will be. And it's not a Jewish domination of the Middle East. It's not the purpose. The purpose is to reveal that God is in the world running the show in the first place. And when the nations get that, evil will be dismissed from the courts of law, from the courts of all the false governments. Now, some people at this time like to invoke the idea of the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, and attach them to the Illuminati and the fallen angels, and it goes back and on and on and on into the dark, dim days of the beginning of the human race. And whether those conjectures are true or not, something very big is happening. The human race is waking up to itself, to the horrendous evil of history, how we've treated ourselves, and the imperative that goodness and righteousness and justice be spread globally in order to save our planet from these monstrous corporations that poison us with bad food, bad water, bad air, and charge us top dime for it as well. That's only one level of the conflict, obviously, but it's the one we deal with every day. So, my friends, catch the vision, catch the cycle, what's happening. So the fall of these nations is part of a preparation for the transformation of all the other nations that are touched by them. And if you don't choose the right side, you will be on the wrong side. Neutrality doesn't work here. There's no such thing as not caring who wins. If you don't choose the winners, those who choose Hashem, the creative intelligence of the universe, you're choosing the darkness and the ignorance. And that's exactly why we are here, to disband the darkness and ignorance from the human mind, that we all truly open our eyes to the light and the brilliance and the mystery and the miracle of our existence in this universe. God bless you all.